Hello, my name is Tim. I am the event director of Metcon Rush. I'm here to bring you all the events for the RX team division. Going to break down the flow, the event standards, kind of how the week is going to go for you guys. So off the bat, for event one, just on the same page, event one for the men is event three for the ladies, as far as the way the workouts are formatted. And then obviously event one for the women is the event three for the guys. The way we did it this year was we tried to keep the men's divisions on one floor together and the women's on the other floor. That way, the transitions were pretty seamless with barbells and weights and stuff like that. So we did have someone ask about like the heat schedule, and obviously event one for the men and women is not the exact same. It's just they're on different floors at the exact same time. So it's just easier for me to put into the schedule the timelines and not necessarily differentiate the actual event. But when you get the workout done, you get your scorecard, and obviously like the scorekeeper is going to put in the correct workout with the correct times and so on and so forth. So we had some people ask about that. Some of you probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but for those who asked, this is me kind of giving you some feedback on that. As far as event one is concerned, when I go over this will be covering event three for the women. And when I go over event one for the women, that'll be like going over event three for the guys. So I'm gonna try to keep it a little bit simpler without having to do too many slides here. So this event will start with the rec bag. Some people are asking what a rec bag is. All right, so this is the rec bag here. It's empty right now, but we'll put some weighted sandbags that are already filled inside of here to make it whatever weight is necessary for your divisions. 100 pounds for the men, and this division, and 75 for the women. All right, a dual rec back lunge basically means it's a synchronized lunge. We're looking for the athletes can clean the back of their shoulder if they want to, or behind the neck or on the shoulder, your choice. All we're looking for synchronized wise that you guys are locking out at the same time, and then you're not getting ahead of each other, right? So when you guys lunge, it doesn't have to be perfectly making contact on the ground at the same time with the knee, but you need to lock out together at the same time. So if one person kind of gets ahead of the other, you gotta make sure they're kind of pause, waiting for that person to lock out with them so that they're synchronizing that lunge so that it's easier for our judges, right, to be able to identify what is good and what's a bad rep. That movement, right? So that's going to basically a synchronized lunge, but again, all we're looking for is hip extension at the same time at the top of that lunge together, right? If you want to step through your lunge, you can. Just make sure you guys, meaning you don't have to pause after every lunge. You can just make sure you guys are doing a good job of locking out at the same time together. So that's your 50-foot dual lunge. You'll start at the finish line and you'll lunge down to the rig. All right, once you get to the rig, you have 50 wall ball shots. Some of the other questions I had were like, where's my partner going to be? They'll be right next to you, as long as they're not in the judge's way. Obviously they need to do their job, but you don't have to worry about tagging anybody in and out. It's just a matter of kind of switching as you want. It's your choice. But yeah, you have 50 wall ball shots, break it up however you want. Then you have 50 chest to bar pull-ups again. As long as you're out of the way and safe, you can kind of be near that area when your partner's doing their chest to bar pull-ups. You can sub in and out again. No need to touch the hands. Right, when you get to the pull-up power cleans, and it does say power cleans, but I'm okay if it's a squat clean. I kind of probably should wrote cleans and then specify whether it could be a power or squat, your choice. But I'm gonna go ahead and say it's whatever you want to do there. It doesn't matter if it's a power or squat. That bar will be turned sideways in relationship with the flooring. Right, once you get to the bar, you'll pull it in, so it's now horizontal with the floor or the lane, I should say. And so at that point, you will go back and forth however you like. Again, with the partner setup though, they need to be somewhere behind you. You can't be face to face because the judge is going to be in front of you, obviously counting your reps. So the person needs to be behind you, but you guys can sub in and out however you like, right? And then at that point, you guys will take the bar when you finish your 20th clean, turn it back sideways, give yourself a clear lane here now for the lunge. You'll pick your bag up, you'll lunge down, you'll lunge back for 100 feet. That puts you to the next part, which again is 50 wall ball shots, 50 toe to bar, back to your power cleans for 20 more. And then at that point, you'll need to load your bar with more weight, right? So the first weight for the men is 185 at the top. For the women's 125. At the bottom 20 is gonna be 205 for the men and 145 for the women. So it gets a little bit heavier. It's kind of like your strength workout for the weekend as far as a heavier barbell. You'll need to load your own weights. It's your choice when you want to add the weights to the bar. You can do it after your first round of 20 before the lunge, or when you guys get back to the pull-up bar. If someone wants to change the weights out while someone's working on wall balls, that's fine. It's not really interfering with the workout. So it's your choice when you want to kind of exchange those weights for for that barbell. You can do that whenever you like. It'll be off to the side in the safe area next to your barbell. And then finally, when you finish your 20 cleans, you guys will both pick the bag up and lunge down to the finish line. Once you pass that 50-foot marker, you can drop the bag, run across the finish line to finish out the workout together, right? So hopefully if it comes down to like someone getting off the bar at the same time, that lunge will kind of be a cool way to dictate whether or not, what one team wins versus the other. But again, you have to make sure you guys are locking out at the same time when you're performing that lunge. For your wall ball shots, it's 20 pounds for the men, 14 for the women. Just make sure you guys are getting below parallel, hitting the correct target, which is a 10-foot for the men, 9 for the ladies. Chest to bar, make sure you make contact on the chest, right? Get a lockout position, the bottom position of your pull-up. Power cleans, knees, hips, full extended, elbows through, right? For full range of motion, regardless if it's a power clean or a squat clean. And then for the toe to bar, 2 feet need to make contact in between the hands at the same time for that to count as a rep, right? So again, I think the biggest questions I had for this workout were mostly what is a rec bag? Obviously I've shown you what that is. And what does it mean by dual lunge? Again, essentially it's synchronized lunge with the hip extension being the synchronization of that movement. That's how we'll dictate that. And after that, the next questions were like, am I tagging my partner in or out? Or are they gonna be near me? Yes, they'll be near you. You don't have to tag in and out. You guys can break it up however you want. There's a 15-minute cap on the workout, and that'll be event 1 for the men, and essentially event 3 for the ladies on day 1, right? Event 2 is going to be a campus run. So you guys are gonna run 2.4 miles, right? So you guys are gonna run, there's basically a loop beside the main facility that we're doing our competition in. We are bringing a company in to do this. So you're essentially gonna have, professionals handling this. When I say professional, I'm not a professional, race, organizer. So these guys are bringing in chip timers, bibs, all that good stuff to make sure everything is done the right way and that everything's recorded the right way. So once you guys get done with your first event, you will check in, get your bib. One athlete will get a chip timer, and then you both will be holding a rope when you're running. And then whoever, the person holding that has that chip timer is going to be whenever they cross the line, that's when your score is recorded. Again, it's going to be 0.6 miles a run per loop. So you're going to run the loop 4 times. We'll have delineators and tape, caution tape marking out the course to make sure you guys are running the right direction. We'll have staff out there. We'll have water available out there if you need it. We'll have gators, driving around just to make sure everybody's doing their thing, being safe, so on and so forth. So for the most part, pretty straightforward. Again, you're going to be holding a rope with your partner. You're going to be running together the entire time. One person will have that chip timer on to record the time for the run. You're welcome to wear music if you want to, earbuds, stuff like that. Some people ask those questions and all that good stuff. So again, that's pretty straightforward for the most part. You will stagger. We're gonna have the guys and the girls stagger a little bit here, so that way we don't have too many people running at one time, any bottleneck or any issues with safety. So there will be a stagger of when the men go and when the women go. That obviously when we get out there, what you guys know when you're gonna kind of get that going as far as the run. But that'll be event 2 for both men and women on day 1. Again, if you have any questions, you can obviously let me know. It should be a nice day. It's a lot of, for the most part, it looks like the weather is going to be a little bit cooler than it has been, so that'll be nice. And some of this path that you're running is shaded anyway, so so it should be pretty good. So that'll be event 2 on day 1. Kind of going back to what event 1 for the women is going to be, but also event 3 for the men. This will be on the secondary floor. This workout's for time with a 14-minute cap. We got 30 calories across the board for the men, 25 for the women. All right, 30 cal row, men, 25 ladies, 30 cal bike, men, 25 ladies. So athlete 1 will row, athlete 2 will bike. You're responsible for your own calories. You cannot help each other. So if you're a really good rower and you finish fast, you can't hop on that bike and help out your partner. They gotta get that done on their own. All right, so once you finish up those calories together, you'll move up together to your worm, and you have 60 worm squats. All right, so kind of like that dual rec bag lunge, we're looking for the athletes to hit below parallel and lock out together at the same time. That way they're obviously in sync with that squat for full range of motion. As far as the worm squats are concerned, you'll be in one place for all 60 reps. Once you finish your 60 reps, you'll move up to your box. You have 60 box jump overs. This will be total. This will be the first part of the workout where you guys are working. One's working while one's resting. We're looking for a 2-foot takeoff, 2 feet land on the box. It's your choice if you want to rebound, if you want to land on the box, step down, spin, jump back up on the box. That's your choice how you want to kind of approach the box jump overs, but you can rebound or you can just do a step down. It's your choice. All right, after you guys complete 60 box jump overs together, 24 inches for the men, 20 for the ladies, you guys will move back to your warm for a 60 warm push press. For that warm, if you haven't done a push press before, all we're looking for is from the shoulder or pushing up and over the head. Does not require a full lockout or full extension for that rep to count, but it does require that bag lands on the shoulder together before you guys come back over. If for some reason you want to drop your worm after your next rep or whatever, if you guys go over the head and drop the weight, that'll be a no rep. It has to come to the shoulder, and then you guys can go down to the ground to complete that rep. So be mindful of when you guys, and if for some reason one person goes overhead and one person's still on the other side, the other person needs to come over as well, right? For that rep to count as well, right? You have to be on the same side of the shoulder for that rep to count. All right, so you guys have 60 warm push press. Once that's completed, you're back to your row or a bike. And again, if you were the person that was rowing the first time, you're gonna bike now. And if you were on the bike the first go around, you're now on the rower to finish out, all right? So again, you're both responsible for your own calories. Once that's completed, you guys will run back to the finish line and you will complete the workout. So just remember, whenever you're completing a workout, it needs to be finished at the finish line. So we'll have a go and a stop as far as how you guys will finish and start and finish your workouts. As far as the machines are concerned, you have to start off the bike and off the rower, so no one's starting strapped in or on the bike. So you guys will be beside your machines, 3, 2, 1, go. You guys will then be allowed to hop on those machines and then obviously get into your beginning portion of your calories. There's a 14-minute cap on the workout. The weight for the men is a 150-pound bag, and for the women it's 120 roughly, right? So this will be a little bit of a chipper to get through. At this point, again, this is event 1 for the men, ladies, and this event 3 for the men. At this point, after you've done the rec bag lunge with the gymnastics on the pull-up bar, you did your run, and you complete this portion of the day, you guys will be done, right? So you have kind of a quick day on, this is new for us too, we've never had the RX teams go multiple days. This is the first year you're gonna compete for 2 days. But when you're done, you can go home. If you're staying overnight in a hotel, you guys can obviously go back to your hotel or go explore our wonderful city a little bit. And then as far as the next day is concerned, when you guys come back, you're not required to get there any earlier than your first event of the day, which I'm not totally sure the time again. I can't remember, but I want to say it's like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, I think is what it is, or 8:45 range. But you guys need to get back to just enough time to make sure you're ready to do your warming up and all that good stuff. The heat times are all up, so you can kind of see a breakdown of heat 1, heat 2 is going to start for the women. Heat 1, heat 2 is going to start for the men. So let's make sure you're back in time on Sunday morning for that. All teams will be on floor 2 for this event. You guys have 3 rounds for time of 150 double unders, 30 dumbbell snatches, and 15 synchro warm facing burpees. This is a 12-minute cap. All right, so as far as the double unders are concerned, you guys can have 2 jump ropes if you want to. If you want to share a jump rope, that's your choice. One person can do all 150 if they want, or just break it up however you like. That's your choice as well. For the dumbbell snatches, you guys will move up to your dumbbell. The weight is 70 pounds for the men and 50 for the women. You must alternate every rep, and 2 heads of the dumbbell must make contact with the ground for it to be considered a rep, right? So touch the ground, 2 heads, or I should say it starts from the ground, pull all one motion overhead, stack the hands over the top of the shoulders, right? You can alternate overhead, you can alternate in the front rack position, you can alternate from the floor. It's your choice. Both heads must make contact, right? We cannot drop those dumbbells from overhead position. You can't drop them right on the way down. It needs to be gently put back on the ground to show control before you move on. All right, so again, 30 total reps between the 2 of you, so you can break it up however you like. Once you guys get that warm, this is synchronized, right? So both athletes need to make sure they're on the ground at the same time. So it's okay if one jumps over the worm first. You have to wait though till your partner gets there and you're both on the ground at the same time. That'll be considered a synchronization, right? Hips and chest on the ground at the same time, and then you guys can move from there, right? But getting over that worm, getting back to the floor doesn't require any synchronization other than you guys are on the floor at the same time before the next rep occurs. All right, so that'll take place for 3 rounds, right? At the end of your 3rd round of your burpees, you guys will finish your 15th burpee and run across the finish line together, right? Together, last person, and in these scenarios when you guys are doing your finish, whoever the last person is across, since we don't have chip timers for this, whoever the last person across the line is, that's when your time is documented. So like if I take off for a sprint, my my partner is kind of hurting behind me, right? That judge is not going to document that time until the both people are across the line. So be mindful of making sure you both are sprinting across the line to complete your workout to get your credit for your time, right? So this will be event 4 on Sunday morning. And again, pretty straightforward. I think for the most part, it should be a nice little sprint. At one point, we had said that for event 5, which is the last event on Sunday, it would be the top 10 teams. We were able to squeeze everybody in. So now all 20 men's and 20 women's teams, if we have that number, basically we have enough for 2 heats, you guys will all be advancing to the final event. So if you don't want to do it, I guess, maybe you're a little worried about some of the movements. It is what it is. I'd encourage you anyway to try to push past it, but we're gonna have all teams compete in the final event on Sunday. So that is something that maybe you thought you weren't gonna get a chance to do. Well, now you are. This will be the final event of the weekend for the RX team division. Again, all teams will do this. Right? We're not gonna cut any teams for this. You guys start with 40 thrusters, 95 pounds for the men, 65 for the women. Then you move into 20 synchronized muscle ups if you're a male team, or if you're a female team, it'll be 15 synchronized muscle ups. That just means one person is doing ring while one person is doing bar. So when you're doing this, you will be if you're on the bar muscle ups, you'll be facing in. On the rings, obviously, you're facing out, and you guys will synchronize the top of your muscle up. So with testing this, just my feedback, obviously the person in the bar is probably gonna have the easier go. So that person, if they get above the bar first, they can rest and wait there until the person on the rings is locked out, and then you guys can go on your next rep. So if the person in the bar tends to get ahead of the person on the rings, it's not considered a no rep. It's just you have to wait till you both are at the top of your lockout position before you guys can go back into your next rep for it to count. Right? You can break it up if you want. You can do 5s, you can do 10s, whatever. It doesn't matter. You guys can go back and forth as much as you want. There's no designated work for how many muscle ups you have to do with a ring or a bar. That's your choice. But it does need to be synchronized in lockout position. All right, make sure as a person doing muscle ups, you guys lock out in the support position. Don't push away before you reach that lockout position for your rings. All right, so again, 20 for the men, 15 for the women. You're back to your barbell again for 40 thrusters, which again is just passing below parallel. That's a front squat into a push press, right? So make sure you guys are below parallel, and you lock that overhead for that thruster for it to count. Back to the muscle ups one more time. Now it's 10 synchro muscle ups. That's the same number for both men and women. And again, bar, ring, synchronized at the same time. And then you guys will move into a 50-foot handstand walk. So it says 50-foot walk athlete A, 50-foot handstand walk athlete B. I'm sorry, athlete 2. It's your choice. So if you're really good in your hands and you want to go the whole 50 feet, you can. Or if you want, you can go 25 feet, and then your partner can go 25 feet, and then you can go 25 feet, and then your partner can go 25 feet. But with that being said, each person is responsible for a 50-foot handstand walk. I would say, or I wouldn't say, I'm going to tell you that you have to at least get 25 feet before your other partner can go. And at that point, you have to wait until your partner gets there, right? That way the judge can obviously keep their eyes on what's taking place, right? So if you want to go all 50 feet unbroken, or you want to go 25, come down, and then go 25 to finish, you can. And then your partner goes 25 and 25, or you go all 50. It's your choice. But if you want to kind of segment it where one gets to 25 feet and they wait, and then you get to 25 feet and then you go and then they go, that's also allowed as well. You can go 5-foot increments as well, so you're not required to go 25 feet before you come back down. There's no designated work as far as how far you have to go on that handstand walk before you can come down. So if you want to go, 5-foot increments the whole way down, that's your choice, right? There's a 12-minute cap on this workout, and again, all teams will get a chance to knock this out on Sunday, which is pretty cool. Glad that everybody gets a chance to come back and hit all 5 workouts. Again, if you have any questions about this, let me know. You can message or email. Obviously, that weekend we'll be answering questions to our athlete control area and stuff like that. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys soon. We should have a great 10-year anniversary here of this event. It's hard to believe it's been that long. We're excited to have a lot of new faces coming in with a lot of old faces that have been supporting this event for a long time. It's going to be a great weekend. Super excited to see everybody soon. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll see you guys on Saturday.